County Board. Before we hear from 2010 All-Ireland winning manager Conor Coonahan and player on that team, John Hayes, let's hear from both camps ahead of this eagerly awaited clash. We will hear shortly from Keith Moynihan, manager of Mallow. But firstly, earlier this week, I caught up with Bandon manager Donald Kelleher.
So Donald, obviously looking forward now to the match later on today. It is a great game to be involved in. It's great to be still involved in the knockout stages of Championship.
Yeah, look, Pat, if we were told at the start of the year, given the format and given that we had a dual club with games every second week, hurling football, we would have taken this. Our hurlers, unfortunately, were knocked out last weekend. We got back on Wednesday night with a good session, and we're looking forward to today. It's where we wanted to be at the start of the year. We set a goal to be here. We are here, and the players are looking forward to it. They like competing. We have a good bunch of players. So it's a tough game for us. Mallow are a very, very good side. So we're under no illusion of the task that's ahead of us here later on.
Just going through your round robin results a little bit earlier on, Clyde Rovers, that was a good victory. And then I suppose you might describe it as a scrappy performance against Doheny's. And your third game then, the loss to Fermoy. I was actually at that game myself, but it was a real ebb and flow up and down the peaks and valleys throughout. And I suppose that late goal against Fermoy, you were thinking to yourself, geez, we're gone here. But the way the results worked, you're still in.
Yeah, look, we set 2 games realistically. We set the Clyde game as a test, and we probably caught Clyde on a bad night. To be fair, Clyde are a better side than the night we played them in Escara. Doheny's was a local derby. Doheny's had been up for a number of years, competed at that level. It's our first time up here competed at that level. We were up 4 points, 26 minutes gone the second half. We didn't close out the game. We went down a point, and Cian O'Mahony brought off a spectacular score in the last minute to get the draw. And then going to Fermoy. Fermoy was always going to be a big game for us. We take Fermoy, beat Castlehaven last year in the first round and bring in a very good football game. They have some very good footballers. And yeah, it was a bit of we thought we were gone. We thought we were in the semi-final. And then we thought we were lucky to get through. And, we'd like a crack of Fermoy again.
How do you see the format this year, the round robin series, everybody getting 3 games? How from your own perspective, how do you feel about it?
Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. The only criticism I would have of it, and this is a very small criticism coming from a dual club, and this was nobody's fault because I think the county board did a fantastic job this year. If we could just spread it out maybe a week or 2 or 3 weeks longer just to give a break, which was originally the format, but as a format, I think it's absolutely superb. If you look at most groups hurling or football this year, everybody going into the last game had a chance of going through. Take Cork Rovers in hurling. They were staring relegation, and now they went through into quarterfinals, and they're performing very well. So it's games. It's what players want. Play a game Sunday, train Tuesday and Thursday, go back and play a game next Sunday, and it's what players want in September. When I was playing, 4 championship games, maybe over a 7 or 8 month period, this is superb. Absolutely. Oh, I'm all for it. I'm fully behind this. That I have no complaints, and I wouldn't say any one of our players would have a complaint about it.
Talk to me about the dual club. You brought it up yourself there. I suppose it has been tough for a lot of dual clubs. Yourselves and Mallow are in the same predicament in the Senior A Championship. Of course, you've got the likes of Newcestown, the Bars, playing 6 round robin games over a 7-week period. It must have been very tough. How did you keep all the players fresh and ready in mind and body?
Yeah, I suppose we had a very good, healthy working relationship with the hurling selectors and the management and the hurlers. Sat down at the very start of this when it was starting and said, okay, we platform players. Now, we were a little bit luckier than some other dual clubs. We had only 8 or 9 players that were starting in both grades, so we minded the players well. So I suppose it was difficult. We had no complaints about it. We didn't complain. We were happy to get on. We minded the players. And what's absolutely startling for us, if you look at tomorrow or today, when we're playing later on, we're playing our 8th game in 9 weeks. We have no injuries going into this game, bar Aidan O'Mahony, who unfortunately broke his leg against Clyde Rovers in the first game. So we have no other injuries. That's a testament to, I suppose, the way we have trained, coached, and we've minded our players as well. So again, we are lucky. We had a good working relationship with the hurlers. If we didn't, it would have been a problem. Would we like to have seen the hurlers win last weekend? Of course we would. But we got back the players on Wednesday night in good shape. They were hungry, they were eager. So for that, no issues with the Jewel Club. Yeah, I made a bit of noise about it at the start, but again, I support the county board in their endeavours here to run a championship, and I think they've run a very good championship in very difficult circumstances, and for that they're to be commended and applauded.
Obviously, both sides have met, both clubs have met in a hurling format in the round robin series, drawing 123 apiece. There's obviously dual players, as you mentioned. You've got 8 or 9 of your own. But who are the players to watch out from a Mallow perspective?
From the Mallow point of view, who would we be looking out for? Or our own players, Pat?
No, sorry, the Mallow. Who are you watching from a Mallow point of view? Without giving away your game plan.
Yeah, Mallow are a physically very tough side. Mallow played us 3 years ago and they beat us, and they went on to win a county final against a very good St. Michael's side. Look, they have a couple of boys on the Cork senior set up there, Lochbury and Taylor. To be fair to the likes of Cian O'Riordan, to mention just one, like Cian has been around for ages and he's playing fantastic football, and he's a big threat to anyone. So to be fair to them, we've watched them on video. They are a very good side. They're a very physical side, and they've had an advantage. We drew them in the hurling back 3 weeks ago. We've had to play Cork in hurling. We've had to play Fermoy, and we're playing Mallow tomorrow. So they've had 2.5 weeks of pure football, which is bound to stand to them in the game that we're playing later on.
Finally, before I let you go, Donald, the streaming obviously has been worthwhile for the clubs over the last couple of weeks. I know your own club have been streaming matches over the past 2 months, but obviously this weekend, it's great to see the supporters back in town, and the Bandon supporters will be out in force in Blarney later on today.
They will be out in force, and to be fair, we must compliment you with the Irish Examiner for streaming matches, because it was absolutely fantastic to meet people on a Monday after a game. They were able to talk to you about it. They were able to give you their opinion as well, of course, which was in most cases welcome. The streaming has been a God saviour for a lot of people. It's kept them in touch. It's kept them involved. And there's nothing beats though having the supporters at the matches. Later on today, we're going to have supporters, albeit small numbers. But again, we're delighted to be there. We've got used to playing behind a closed door environment, to be quite honest. And it's a little bit eerie, a little bit scary. But have we any problems about whether we have known her at 500 people? We're not that worried. We have a job to do, and that's what we intend doing tomorrow and later on today.
So, Keith, big game today against Bandon. For yourselves, how are you fixed? Full bill of health going to the game?
Yeah, please God, full bill of health. As I was saying, a couple of fellas might have a small niggle, but other than that, yeah, we're picking from a full deck.
A couple of big games in the group stage. Obviously, you lost to Kish game in the first round, but that was a good counterback, I suppose, the game that was live with ourselves in the Examiner against Éire Óg, 14-7 victory. You must have been delighted with that.
Yeah, look, it was a game where we kind of, it was winner takes all really in terms of progression. Like, so, we knew that Éire Óg were after a very good victory in the first game. So we were very disappointed in aspects of how we performed in the first game. So we knew that, we had to produce a performance. Ultimately, our season would be over. So, yeah, look, we were delighted that, we got the 2 points and our season was still alive, and we were able to plan, for 3 weeks later against Bantry. And, I suppose the way the last round panned out, both Éire Óg and Mallow progressed. So, look, we're delighted.
Obviously, the third game then against Bantry, you knew you had to get a result, but I suppose the way the things worked out, Kish game going into the final round at the top, but they end up being knocked out. It just shows the different nature of this championship.
Yeah, look, it's good. I think we've all enjoyed it. I certainly have anyway, and the players have too. That was kind of, something that was on our mind going into the last day. Like, that Bantry had a fighting chance depending on the way the results went in the other game. And they also didn't want to be in a relegation playoff. Like, so we were under no illusions that we were going to be hit very hard by Bantry, and that's exactly what happened. They got off to a flying start, and they caught us for 1-1 before we kind of knew what we were doing. So it was a tough game, and as you say, you knew in the other game that Éire Óg and Kish game could have went anyway. So Éire Óg, I'm sure, very happy to come out at the end of that.
Obviously, you've met Bandon. The club has met Bandon in the hurling championship already, playing out a 123 apiece cracker. We'll probably turn up with something similar today in Blarney.
Yeah, I hope not, to be honest. But look, it's obviously there's history there in terms of the hurling. There's history recently in the football as well. So I'm sure both sides will have nothing but respect for each other. Weather is good, has been for the last few days. That's probably drying out pitches. I think both teams like to play football and express themselves. So that's hopefully the type of football we'll see today.
Talk to me, you mentioned about injuries. How hard is it, I suppose, Jew club-wise, but mixing up between the hurling and football? Obviously, there were 6 games in 7 weeks. The break last week then from the hurling, because the hurling side were knocked out, leading a 2-week break into the football. But prior to that, how tough was it to try and keep on top of it for both sets of sides?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that I found, or the players that we found, the dual aspect the most challenging part. I think it was initially the first couple of challenge games and the first championship game we had to play after such a long layoff. We found in the training sessions, even though we were very conscious that there had been, the 3 to 4 month gap, and that we needed to ease fellas back. No matter what happened when we went into challenge match situations and fellas had to get up to speed with the rigors of the game, injuries occurred, and I think that was the biggest hurdle, if you like, over the first kind of 4 to 5 weeks of returning back. That was it, and we found after that then that the injuries started to calm down a small bit, like the hamstring, soft tissue injuries, and obviously there's other things that happen in the rough and tumble of games. But in terms of the dual commitment, the lads have been great. They're the dual players that we have are really, really committed, as you'd have to be, and they're very good at recovering and making sure that they're doing their stretching, whatever they need to do. And there's a very good relationship between the management and the managements of both football and hurling. And I think that's very important for the lads as well, then, that we all know exactly how they are, how they're feeling, whether they're tired, whether they're carrying a knock, and you just have to look after them the best you can then.
Without revealing the game plan, who to watch out for from a Bandon point of view?
Look, I think they have leaders all over the pitch, to be quite honest. Back from their full back is their captain and Peter Murphy. They have a big midfield, and then obviously I think their inside line is really the line that's putting up all the scores for them. So there's no question. I think there's lots of people to look out for, and I'm not avoiding the question. We'll, as I said at the start, we'll respect them, as I'm sure they will us, and we'll go out to work as hard as we possibly can, and we'll try to limit the space that they want to create for their forwards, and I'm sure they'll be doing the same for us. But we'll be very, I suppose, eager to win that middle third battle and to dominate possession. And I think if you dominate possession, you have a good chance of winning a game of football. So that's exactly what we'll be trying to do tomorrow.
Finally, I suppose it's great that the streaming has been taking place over the last 2 months. But I suppose from a player's point of view or a management's point of view, it's great to have supporters back cheering on the team once again.
Yeah, look, that's certainly right. It's brilliant. I think both sides of it. I think the streaming has been wonderful as well. And being able to watch all the club matches on telly, and then the ones that are streamed as well, is fantastic. For the supporter, but absolutely for Mallow club members to be back in tomorrow and to get to see the team. You're really talking about small numbers. So the people that are there, the people that are very, very interested and very close to the action, they're brothers and sisters and wives and fathers and mothers and that kind of thing. So it is fantastic, and I think it's just, look, it's good for people. Challenging times, as we all know, and there's a lot going on outside of sport. So sport really is a release, and it's somewhere where people can kind of forget about the troubles for a little while and focus on the games and enjoy the games. So yeah, look, I think it's really, really good, and please God, it can last for the duration of the championship anyway. We can't, I suppose, say any further than that.
And thanks to both Donal and to Keith for catching up with us during the week. Give you that special insight. As you can see to my left hand side, Conor Coonan and John Hayes standing beside us. And gents, is supposed to be not remiss of me to mention this weekend is the 10th anniversary of that famous 2010 All-Ireland win. Conor, I remember being at the match, and it was really a close affair. We actually went back and watched it during the week. I suppose the closing stages of that final, there was real emotions up and down the field.
Yeah, obviously, I suppose, particularly for the group of players that were involved, it was a tough time because they'd been through a lot of hardship, and getting so close to the Holy Grail then, we were looking okay, but look, a point in it at the end, breaking ball, anything could have happened. But look, we were fortunate enough to come out on the right side of it, and, marvellous day, one to remember, which is great. And I suppose this week, again, we had 30 years of the Cork double, and I suppose just to remind people again of the Marymount Hospice Fund there to keep contributing to that, such a great cause. But yeah, some great memories, but hopefully we won't have to be looking back at those now for too long more.
Hopefully not indeed. John, your memories of 2010?
I suppose as usual under Conor, I spent more time on the sideline than on the pitch, so it was kind of I actually do remember that one, because I think Conor called me to come on with about 10 minutes to go, and then Derek Kavanagh got knocked out. Remember Derek got knocked out?
That's right.
So Finton came on instead.
Right.
To be fair, Finton, he made a huge catch under the stand there towards the end of the game. I kind of came on then with a few minutes left, ran around, didn't do a whole pile, but we managed to see it out. It was just kind of running around and defending at that stage. So look, it was lovely to get on the pitch, personally speaking. In terms of All-Ireland finals, we had tough days, and personally I hadn't got on the other All-Ireland finals, so to be on the pitch for the final whistle in that All-Ireland was special, because as Conor said, we had a tough kind of few years coming before it as well. So look, it was very important to get that All-Ireland.
Yeah, it was an elusive one indeed. And I suppose as well, you can catch up with the 30 years, because I know, Conor, you were talking with Tony Lean and the lads during the week with a special podcast that is on the irishexaminer.com, and some entertaining stories come out of both hurling and football.
Yeah, sure. Look, I suppose when you look back at the memories and it's just those stories, it's not so much about the game, it's about the character and the people around the setup at the time. And, what's very serious, there can be some very light-hearted moments there that you can look back and really enjoy, because I suppose the way things have gone modern now, like everything is so serious, it's incredible the way it has moved on in that way. And I'm not so sure that all of that is positive.
Well, things are going to get serious here today, because this game is a crucial one for both sides. A quarter-final at stake for a possible place in the semi-final. And let's have a look at both sides. We'll start to Bandon, who are on our left-hand side as we see it out in the field. And they will go unchanged to the programme that you will see in front of you. Pat Prendergast is in goal. Joe Manny, James O'Donovan and Brian Crowley, the full-back line. Rob O'Driscoll, Peter Murphy and Dylan O'Donovan, the half-back line. Rob Long and David Crowley in the middle of the field. Cian O'Mahony, Mark Sugru and Darren Crowley in the half-forward line. Mikey Cahalan, Barry Collins and Ronan Crowley in the full forward line. John, there was a mixed results. They've got a win against Clyde, a draw against Stawneys and a loss against Fermoy in a late goal given away. How do you see the team lined out there?
So look, I would be familiar with a lot of the Bandon guys. Obviously Pat Prendergast is there a very long time. He would have been on the Carbery team in 2004 when we won the county that year, and actually beat Mallow in the semi-final along the way, and we were very lucky to pip him that day. So Prender is very experienced and a very solid keeper. James Donovan is full back. He's a well-renowned bowler, very strong, tough character, will be a solid full back. And Peter Murphy will anchor defence from centre back. He's involved in the Cork panels in and around with a number of years, and is a very solid player. Then in the forwards, you've got Mark Sugru. I think most people know about. He'll be one of their main scoring threats. He's a very talented footballer and hurler. Will take watching. Mikey Cahalan people would be more familiar with as a hurler as well, but is a very accomplished footballer. Barry Collins, inside full forward, does a lot of the scoring, so I'm very much looking forward to watching him have a battle with James Lockery. That should be an entertaining duel today. And then look, I'd have to mention my two cousins on the left flank, Darren and Ronan, probably again more renowned as hurlers. Ronan told me this morning his job is to get out of Barry's way, so we'll see if that tactic works for Bandon today.
Okay, let's turn our attention to Mallow, who are on our right hand side, and Kevin Doyle starts in goal. Change in the full back line. Bill Myers comes in wearing number 23 in the full back line instead of Oisin Carroll. James Lockery and Andrew Cashman fill out the full back line. Trevor McAvoy, Shane Merritt and Matty Taylor in the half back line. Middle of the field, Darragh Moynihan and Owen Stanton, who captains the side today. Kieran O'Sullivan, Ryan Harkin and Michael O'Rourke in the half forward line, and Kieran O'Riordan, Kevin Sheehan and Sean MacDonald in the full forward line. Conor, you covered a game here, or in Mournabbey, I should say, a month ago when they beat Éireog that night. Yeah,
they looked very good that night. Looked really strong now. I suppose both teams are going to differently. Éireog had 2 points on the board. Mallow needed the win, so how good that form is, I don't know. We'll know more after today. But like on that night, obviously the key players were guys like James Lockery and Shane Merritt down the wing, Matty Taylor, Owen Stanton. I was very impressed with in the middle of the field, caught a lot of ball, and up front, guys like Kevin Sheehan tapping over a few scores, Sean MacDonald, and the old dog for the hard road there, Cian O'Riordan, was crucial in terms of an awful lot of the score. So, look, they they look fairly well balanced. I didn't look at the bookies' odds in this, but I'd imagine Mallow would be favourites.
What about the two Cork players in that team, Loughrey and Taylor? What kind of role have they to play there today?
Well, I suppose they have a big role. I mean, James is a real driver back there. Matty, very good at getting forward and that sort of thing. And I suppose how Mallow will try and stop Matty getting forward. Will they put someone on him and just to mark him, or will they try and get some forward to roam in behind to prevent him getting up for his runs? But he's difficult enough to stop. And I suppose it'll depend on the defensive shape that both sides take. A lot of teams now tend to get as many bodies back behind the ball, and for attacking wing backs, that's problematic enough. But look, the one thing you can be sure of Matty is that you'll get everything out of him. He's a real genuine guy, up and down the field all day. But look, it's championship, it's 10 margins, and Bandon are coming back off a hurling defeat last weekend. It's throwing everything at this and hopefully putting that defeat behind them.
And possibly, John, that's where Mallow might come with the advantage, because they've had a 2-week straight run into this football game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, look, it's I think eight times in 9 weeks. But a lot of those Bandon players will have been out, so it can go two ways. They'll obviously be fit. It's a very hot day. Both teams are going to be fit. If you get a good start, a lot of that tiredness goes out of the mind. If Mallow can get on top of Bandon, maybe a few fellas start thinking, we've had a tough run, and the legs get a bit heavy and it gets a bit more difficult. Conor alluded to it there. Mallow are probably slight favourites, but Bandon are all football now after being beaten out of the hurling, so I'm sure they'll want to go further in this competition.
Has been wonderful competition and through all the grades as we see both sides getting ready out on the field. And Conor, I suppose we mentioned we've been covering games across the group stages. It has been topsy-turvy all the way through. I was actually at that Bandon for my game in Glanmire, and it went all the way down to the wire, and they were actually waiting on the Clydach Rovers Donny's results to see how the table was going to finish up.
Yeah, look, it's been a fantastic championship from that point of view, because everything was down to the wire. It was, as I said to someone there, it was nearly like an election count. You were looking at transfer votes and points and whatever. So it's been, I don't know, you probably couldn't plan it any better. Hopefully today we get a good game, a good exciting game. I see the earlier result coming in there from Aero beat St. Michael's fairly well, which was surprising enough, but hopefully we'll get a much closer game here today.
3-12 to 4 points, and they've booked their place in a semi-final. As we turn our attentions now to the field, and our referee this afternoon is Robert Whelan of Ahada, and it looks to be that Mallow will be playing from left to right as you see it on the camera. Of course, they're in their traditional red and gold, Bandon in the all white, and we're going to put your next on the line, lads. Give us a name. Who's going to win this one?
Well, I think, look, I'll stick with the bookies. They seldom get it wrong, so I'll just stick with Mallow on this one.
John?
Well, look, I'll have to be biased and stick with the team from the West and give them a 50-50 vote here. And, I'll have to back my cousins in this one as well, so Bandon for me.
Busy day in the Irish Examiner live stream, of course. Later on this evening, we've got the Premier Senior Football Championship live from Parky Rin from 7 o'clock. The lads will be on air from 6:45. Of course, the game between Duhallow and Valley Rovers taking place tonight. But all eyes on the county, concentrating here in a sun-scorched Blarney as we await for the start of this game. As Rob Whelan throws in the ball, we're underway in the second quarter final of the Bon Secours Premier Intermediate Football Championship, and the first possession goes the way of Darragh Moynihan, and Moynihan winning the free for himself just outside the Bandon 65, taken there by Ryan Harkin, but straight in top of the loose defender back there was James O'Donovan of Bandon. Bandon now just looking to try and settle themselves down. Peter Murphy and recycling outside to Rob O'Driscoll. 12 under 21s on this Bandon side, Rob being one of those. Here's O'Donovan once again sending it long inside, the bounce inside, but there was a push in the back there, says referee Whelan. Ronan Crowley was the man throwing it away, and it's going to be brought forward 13 metres for that retaliation. So Norvey early stages in the opening 45 seconds of this game here in Blarney, as that free is taken by James Loughrey, the man from Antrim who transferred to Cork back in 2013. Swings it over to Ryan Harkin. Back towards Matty Taylor. The three Cork players getting involved. Here's Matty Taylor making a searing run down the left flank. Low ball inside for Bandon. What can they work from it from here? Going into the corner, badly kicked in there and gone out for a line ball. And it's a line ball for Bandon, deep inside their own 13 metre line. touch enough stages in the early minutes?
Yeah, a few balls gone forward there now from Mallow that haven't found their man and that sort of thing. But I think it's just important for people out there to realise that the heat that's here is quite significant.
As that line ball has been taken by O'Donovan. Send it back to the keeper, Pat Prendergast. And Prendergast is soloing away in his own. Sends a short in towards the centre, inside their own 45-metre line. Fumbled by Crowley, but Peter Murphy got first to it. And now they recycle it through the channels. And Murphy kept on that run up towards the centre of the park. Now here's the first time we'll see danger man Mark Sugru. As that inside line starting to make runs inside, but Sugru keeps on going. He's gone inside the 13-metre line. Sugru's still on the bike. Is there a goal opportunity here? He has got an early goal for Bandon. An early goal, a well-worked score from Mark Sugru, John.
It's a cracking goal. Look, we highlighted Mark as a danger man before the start of the game. Got a ball on the wing. It's a one-on-one contest with his man, and Mark is very, very, very difficult to stop on a one-on-one basis. So Mallow, just looking at how the two teams had lined out, Mallow are going man for man. There was a bit of space in there. The first ball got blown up for a free. A lot of space there again that time, so Bandon could have success if they hit the ball in early.
Yeah, Bandon seemed to be playing a lot of people back behind the ball, and as you said, John, there's a lot of space then for guys to move, as we saw that time when Mark Sugru got a clean pair of heels.
And a free one inside there by Sean McDonald. There was a hand over the shoulder of the defender, Joe O'Mahony. This needs to be a score for Mallow just to get themselves into the game. Had an early opportunity, but that early goal from Sugru is a real sucker punch to the Avenue divisional side. And an early opportunity here now for Mallow to get themselves on the score sheet. And it's going to be Michael O'Rourke who's going to be taking this one. 28, 30 yards out from goal, outside that the exclusion zone. Sends it short, sends it in and over the bar. It's an early point and a needle point, Conor, for Mallow.
Yeah, I think Mallow just needed that to settle the nerves a bit, because that goal, would have had a bit of an impact on him. But back in the game now, and ball kicked out.
Kicked down to the centre of the park, but it's easily won inside there by Matty Taylor. And Taylor recycles the ball out over towards that far side of the field. It's back into the centre. Here's Kieran O'Sullivan, already getting 3 points in this championship. Dangerous player as O'Sullivan, but just fumble the ball. Big shoulder, but it was the third man, says Robert Whelan. David Crowley taking the Mallow player out of it, and it's a soft free to give away, John.
Yeah, a little bit. It was a good shoulder, but the player didn't have the ball, so it was a correct decision. Cian, no, you'd expect Cian to put this over. He's doing this for Mallow for a long time. Yeah,
and it goes all the way in over the bar, despite the quick suck of air from Conor.
I thought it took off there. I know it was going to curl outside the post, but no, I suppose we should have relied on Cian for that. As John said, he's doing it a long time.
Yeah, he's a wand of a left foot, to be fair.
As that kick out comes down towards this near touchline, and Bandon players knocked it out, and the Mallow have taken the quick line ball. There's a chance inside here with Kieran O'Sullivan. He's one-on-one with the defender. He's going to try and get the score, but he's kicked it at the outside of the boot. The ball might still end up in play. It does. Is there a chance here? But it goes all the way out for a line ball over on that far side of the field.
Yeah, there was a promising move, a good ball in, but the finish didn't match the build-up. But yeah, look, it's open. There's opportunities at both ends. Looks like Mallow might have the bulk of the possession, but Bandon seem to have plenty of space to counter-attack into.
As Bandon now looks to try and work out of defence. Inside here is Peter Murphy. Turns back inside Harkin. Harkin's a hand on his shoulder. Advantage being played by our AHADA official and has accrued. Play continues on through Brian Crowley. Crowley make it over the halfway line now. And what can Bandon work from here? Can they add on a score to that early goal that they got? Sugru just gets the bounce. A second bite of the cherry. Left peg of Sugru though, just not as good as that goal. Going to the left and wide.
Yeah, the way the game is, it's very open when Bandon counter-attack on the ball, and there's chances of more goals there the way it is, whereas Mallow's build-up has to be much more slow and methodical in ensuring they keep the ball.
Early mark taken by Kevin Sheehan. Sends it long. It was missed on that occasion by Owen Stanton, and Bandon now trying to reset once again. Darren Crowley working it inside in towards Ronan. Ronan Crowley now making inside the 45-metre line. Looking for runners inside. He's got space to work with though. Sends it into the corner in towards Cian O'Mahony. O'Mahony off the left peg. tight angle, crossed the face of goal though, left and wide.
Yeah, look, that's probably a couple of poor shot selections there from the Bandon forwards. They had opportunities in space to create a little bit more and probably rushed the shots when they could have worked it back into a better position.
Mallow electing to go short once again to James Lockery. Here comes Trevor McAvoy in possession now outside their own 45-metre line. And towards Matty Taylor. Taylor now looking to try and switch the play over towards that far side of the field. The man in space over there is Shane Merritt. 50-50 ball into the centre of the park, but one inside there by Lockery, who was ghosted up from the full-back position, and Lockery levels the game. A good score from the Cork full-back.
Great score from James Lockery, kicking it off his weaker left foot there. But, you know, that's what James can do. He can drive up the field there and pick off a score, and that's a great boost to Mallow now. So we're at level now, 3 points to goal.
Shot kick out, this time from Bandon to Peter Murphy. Murphy just shown defensively by Harkin to go backwards. And he elects to go to his right-hand cornerback. That's Brian Crowley. Crowley again under pressure now from Harkin, putting in some good tackles, but he did well to evade the 2 tackles of Mallow. Got through, and advantage being played. Play continues on. Sent up forward by James O'Donovan. There's a chance here now for Bandon. Darren Crowley in possession over on that far side of the field, and was a sun-splintered Blarney this afternoon. Darren Crowley recycling the ball back outside. Is there a chance here for Bandon to try and work a score? David Crowley working it back down to the corner towards Darren Crowley. Darren sending it in and gone in and over the bar. Great score for Bandon.
Great score from Darren, just showing the mother side of the house can do it as well, so he'll be delighted with that one. But look, it's a good game so far.
That's a great score, all right. Now, I'm not sure every coach would be saying have a go from there. I'd like to see Darren or some other forward do that again.
I think, Conor, you were saying off air, it is in the pedigree, I think. Here's the kick out from Kevin Doyle over towards that far side of the field. And this time Bandon winning the breaking ball through Dylan O'Donovan. Setting inside towards Sugru. And Sugru trying to take on Matty Taylor. Taylor put in a great tackle though. Sugru snap around the body. Is there a score here? Well, you said what a go, Conor. The coaches don't coach that. Look what has Mark Sugru's just done.
Jeez, look, that's incredible. Like, you know, 2 great scores on the trot there now for Bandon, and Sugru certainly looking very, very sharp.
Very sharp. He'd James Lockery and Matty Taylor for company there, and he managed to swing it over with very little space. You know, it's entertaining stuff so far.
Good intensity to the opening 10 minutes of this Bon Secours Premier Intermediate Football Championship quarter-final. There's that breaking ball from the kick-out won by Shane Merritt. Sends it into the centre-back position. And it looks like that's where Matty Taylor's making a roll. He evades a tackle of David Crowley, walking away inside towards the Bandon 45. Offloads it inside and towards Darrell Moynihan. There was a block inside there, and it's gone out for a 45. Came off the body of James O'Donovan.
Yeah, Cian O'Riordan will be a bit disappointed with that, you know, throwing it up and getting blocked down quite easily. I mean, if he had pulled it back, you know, I think Bandon were quite open. But again, good run by Matty Taylor through the middle and helped out there by Owen Staunton.
Robert Whelan just showing us some of his football skills. As this 45 now is going to be taken over on that far side of the field by Michael O'Rourke. In fact, it's actually Ryan Harkin who's going to be taking this one. The Cork under 20 star from the last couple of seasons. No part of that training panel of Ronan McCarthy's. Harkin sends this one going left up and left and wide.
Yeah, that's a little worrying to see Ryan missing that, and I think was it Michael O'Rourke missed him one previous. Obviously Cian O'Riordan is taking him on the left, but you know, getting scores like that is fierce important.
Short kick out for Bandon to Darren Crowley. A risky pass there, but Peter Murphy dealt with it well. When he crossed the face of goal, he's being faced up over there by Ryan Harkin. He has to turn back to his keeper, back to Pat Prendergast. Prendergast now bringing it outside the parallelogram. Sends a dangerous ball in towards the centre of the park. It was risky, and it hasn't worked in their favour as Mallow have turned it over through Kevin Sheehan. Sheehan taking ball inside, goes inside, Kieran O'Riordan, chance for goal, and a great goal inside for Kieran O'Riordan. His second goal of the championship, and Mallow take the lead.
Yeah, look, great run by Cian. Well picked out, and when he was through, I didn't expect any other result than for Cian to bury it. You know, Cian is playing longer than I am, and you know, still doing it for his club. Some going.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, he came out about the 45, was involved initially off, and then followed through with a run. Like, you don't expect a fella that at his age to be making those runs, but look, cuteness again.
Two great goals in the opening 11 minutes of this game here live on the Irish Examiner live stream in association with the Cork County Board. One from Sue Group, the other coming from Kieran O'Riordan as Mallow in possession now. Lockery starting to play inside his own 45-metre line, and they're walking it up towards the centre of the park. A possible advance mark could have been on, but not, and it's the goal scorer Kieran O'Riordan just going to keep it from going out and play it down there in the small minute place of the shadows here in Blarney, but it was a poor ball, and Bandon now have turned it over. Is there a chance here now through Cian O'Mahony?
Good ball.
Sends it long and sent inside in there in towards Mickey Cahalan. Mikey sends it low inside, didn't claim the mark, sent down towards Barry Collins, but a poor shot from Collins. It was only parried out though by Kevin Doyle, and Lockery has to deal with it and does. Plays it out towards Andrew Cashman, and here come Mallow once again trying to build in through their captain from defence. Here's Owen Staunton, long ball in towards the full forward line, but he squirts all the way through in towards Pat Prendergast, and this time now Bandon looking to try and set up their own counter-attack. Here's Peter Murphy, play out towards Darren Crowley and over towards that far side of the field. Cian O'Mahony sending it up to Ronan Crowley, and there's a chance inside here. Snapshot around the body for Bandon. Is there a chance of a score? No, goes left and wide.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of ball that Peter Murphy is handling there on the Bandon half-back line. Very composed and that sort of thing. You always think that he's going to take too much over, but to be fair to him, he's been excellent there.
Yeah, there was a lot of space there. Three kick passes up the pitch for Bandon, and I think Michael will be disappointed that he didn't slap that one over. You know, they've had a couple of wides to add to the 1-2 they have. So look, chances are there. They just have to be more efficient with the shots.
Kevin Doyle sending down the centre of the park. A great mark one there by Darrell Moynihan. Moynihan sending inside towards Matty Taylor. These wing backs are really coming on for Mallow up the field, but unfortunately that shot selection for Matty Taylor wasn't the correct one.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. Well wide there when he'd run into a great position, made a great run. So it's back to Bandon now again.
A chance now for Bandon to build through Cian O'Mahony. Bandon now just playing quite deep, leaving two full forward men inside the 21-metre line, as there were a foul there for Bandon. A foul against Mallow, I should say. It's quickly taken by Bandon, but a poor ball up here, and that's probably been the story. Apart from the two goals, both sloppy at times from defence, trying to transfer in towards the forward line. Ryan Harkin passes it inside in towards the on-rushing Kieran O'Sullivan, and here comes Darrell Moynihan looking for a goal. Mallow was scooped out inside. Moynihan has sent it outside, but a poor shot once again from Sean McDonald, shooting his left both sides down.
Yeah, that was actually Owen Staunton that burst through there again, but I think both sides guilty of a few missed chances there, and they'll be a bit disappointed with that. We're now, I think, into a water break at this stage, and by God do people need it, because the heat here is extreme.
1-3 to 1-2 in favour of Mallow. It was very slow for the opening couple of minutes, but that goal really settled Bandon down quite quickly in the third minute.
Yeah, look, we've seen a lot of action there in that 15 minutes. A couple of great goals, a couple of cracking goals, some spectacular points on the Bandon end as well. We've also seen some kind of poor decision making and poor execution at the other side. You know, there's plenty space for both teams. You know, that was an intense 15 minutes in this heat. You know, I would expect that to take the toll on the two teams. Like I said before the game, both teams should be fit from the games that they've been having over the last few weeks. It's just whether tiredness or injuries come into it now could play a big factor in the game.
Yeah, I suppose Bandon have much more space there. I think their scores that they missed were probably a bit easier than Mallow, because they weren't under as much pressure, whereas Mallow, there was a lot of bodies around, fellas were getting their hands in fellas and that, but Bandon, look, it's still very open up there, and you'd be thinking that if Mark Sugu can get more ball, he could do more damage.
Yeah, it's interesting tactically, because look, Connor's alluded to it there. The bodies seem to be in the Bandon side of the pitch, and Mallow are pushing up all of them, and they're one-on-one back in the back line. So
they're trying to trust their defence, really, aren't they?
Yeah, and Bandon have some dangerous forwards, you know. So look, it's high risk, high reward stuff, but you know, makes it more entertaining for us anyway.
And what I'd find there, John, is that, you know, we'll say the Mallow backs, the last three that are back, are inclined to stand behind their man, and the Bandon people coming out are trying to find a 40 or 50 yard pass. Like as a defender, you should be prepared to step out in front of that and kill the option.
Yeah, I think Mallow are after moving James Lockery onto Mark Sugru as well, so that'll be an effort to shut him down, and that'll be a very interesting battle again.
So about a minute 45 gone for that water break, and play resumes from a kick out from Pat Prendergast. Not claimed over there though by David Crowley. There's a chance now for Mallow to a possible score. Ryan Harkin taking a pot shot from 35 out. Harkin sends it in and sends it over the bar. A glorious score from Ryan Harkin.
Good score. Unfortunately, from Bandon's point of view, lost possession on the kick out when they should have probably won it and be going up the field, but lost the ball and gone over the bar. Good point from Ryan Harkin.
Again, Prendergast sends it over towards that right hand flank, but this time Mikey Cahalan can't keep it in from going out of play, so it's a line ball over on that far side for Mallow.
It's 2 kickouts now that Bandon have kind of turned over, and the first one cost them a point. Will this one cost them a score? They can't afford those kind of mistakes.
It's going to be a long ball sent in, long inside. And both players fighting for that ball, fighting for the jersey as well. Here's Ryan Harkin after getting that beautiful score last time. But Kieran O'Riordan was dealt with on that occasion. There's a high hand in there by Ryan Harkin, and it's going to be James O'Donovan who was winning the free, and Harkin is going to be spoken to by our Haddo official.
Yeah, a bit high end off, I know, so he was. Again, as I said, the heat is becoming more, and I think the pace will drop a bit now. We've very lively opening half, but I do think it's going to drop a bit. But Bandon seem to be having a bit of difficulty getting the ball out of their own defence.
Harkin being given the yellow card. That was a real 50-50 ball if you wanted to give away the possession. But luckily enough for Bandon, Darragh Moynihan couldn't regain his feet, and Bandon now trying to walk out of the fence through Dylan O'Donovan. Played up towards the cornerback, Brian Crowley. And again, as we mentioned, as lads mentioned a while ago, there's 2 men inside the full forward line. It's the 2 Bandon players who are in front. Matty Taylor looking to try and take his man, and he's done so. He's turned over Mark Sugru brilliantly. And trying to break out of the fence now, Mallow.
That's a big psychological boost there when Sugru looked to be on the ball. Matty got his hand in and turned over. And here's Lockery now bursting forward again. Mallow have an overlap here.
They have an overlap and a chance here now for Owen Stanton. He's going to be in on goal. Stanton with a chance of a goal. It's a great save inside there. It's not a save, it's just off the post, in fact. Would you believe it? But that was a quick transfer from the Matty Taylor turnover 10 seconds later, just off the outside of the post.
Yeah, and look, Matty Taylor's gone into Mark Sugru now. They're keeping James Lockery further out the pitch. Great disposition on Mark Sugru. Very good counter-attack, and that would have been a killer blow if they'd found the net there. A bit of a let-off for Bandon, and they're on the counter-attack now again.
And here comes Bandon on the counter-attack. Joe Manny sending it in towards the top of the right. Ball inside in towards Barry Collins, one of the dangermen for Bandon inside. Collins looking to try and get himself on the score sheet. He's got an advantage there, a chance for a free shot for Collins, and Collins has got his score, the first score of the game for the Bandon number 14.
Yeah, good score from Barry Collins there. You know, very strong on the ball once he gets it, and you know he's been their consistent scorer throughout the championship and for many years. So Mallow will have to keep an eye on him as well.
Yeah, it was an impressive win, and he's a big, strong full forward. You know, he goes to the same gym that I do in Cork, and I think he's lifting a few bigger weights than I am. So he's a danger inside.
Chance here now for Bandon is Ronan Crowley working inside the 45-metre line. Mikey Cahalan seeing the free man ghosting over on that far side. That's Sugru. Sugru maybe with a second chance of a goal. He goes for the pot shot, just lands it in over the top of the net and over the crossbar. Despite the tackling of James Lockery, it's now a level game.
Yeah, he was under serious pressure there from James Lockery, but shimmy to the left, went back on the right and popped it over. Great score under pressure.
Yeah, it's interesting. Another great score. There's some really good scoring from Bandon, and you know, Mark Sugru is causing a lot of trouble, and it seems to be between James and Matty, who's on him at different times.
There was a push in the back there in the centre of the field by Rob Long, and that's a free now for Mallow, right in the centre of the park here, and what is a glorious Blarney. Great to see crowds back as well, of the 100 people. Chance here for Kieran O'Riordan working his way inside the 13-metre line. Have they got a score back? They have. They've taken the lead once again. Kieran O'Riordan with the score.
Yeah, great score now. Not in his right and his strong side, but again, just judged it to perfection. You can't buy that type of ability.
No, there's some really good points being kicked here, and it's very good football, to be fair, you know.
As that ball is knocked out by Bandon player, and a chance here for Mallow, 45 yards out from goal, and it's going to be taken by Kevin Sheehan. Sends it along inside, but a free out there. It was a push to the back of the Bandon player. And maybe some attention is going to have to be required to Joe O'Mahony.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's that serious. I think he just seemed to get a bit of a knock, but he should be fine again there. But it's interesting now, the kick-out's proving a big challenge there for both sides. As I said, Bandon were in trouble for a while, but they've got the last few away, and you know, and the Mallow kick-out, you know, high ball, I would have been expecting Owen Staunton to be more dominant there. I'd be playing a bit more ball to him than has been going that way, because Mallow Bandon the last few minutes have been breaking that ball and picking up the break, and you know, it's just tit for tat now.
If you're Keith Moynihan, Conor, what's the words going over the last 9-10 minutes?
Yeah, but I suppose, as I said, on the kick out, I'd like to get Staunton 1-on-1 on the kick out, because I think he's got a lot of ability that way. You know, they're playing reasonably well, can't do a whole pile wrong, but I still worry about the Bandon forwards. As you know, between Sugar and Barry Collins there, they show the ability to get scores.
As the Bandon kick out has gone over towards that far side of the field, and it's Peter Murphy recycling the ball back inside in towards Pat Prendergast. Prendergast making another run up the field, and here's another chance for Bandon, but again it's miscued, and a chance now for Shane Merritt to set up the attack. James Lockery in the background. No, Lockery gets his via the pass of Darragh Moynihan. Lockery's going to take on this Bandon defence. He walks inside the 45-metre line. What can the man Born and Antrim do from here? Oh, it's a poor shot from Lockery. Hasn't gone out of play though. And Pat Prendergast now has a chance to reset Bandon back up on the counter attack. Rob Long sending it inside to Peter Murphy, and Murphy now looking to try and maybe go with a 40 or 50 yard pass. He does that, sending it in towards Mallow territory. Here's Darren Crowley. Crowley now with an opportunity. Sugu inside the edge of the square, not making too much movement now, and Darren Crowley has to go and try to take on his man 1-on-1, but the Mallow defender stuck with him. Now inside Ronan Crowley, and Crowley's burnt the first defender inside. A chance for Crowley to level the game, and it does so with a hand pass over the bar. 1-5 apiece.
Yeah, Bandon's build-up is a bit slower, but like, you know, they're capable of getting off those scores when they want to. Crowley's, you know, showing a bit of legs there, you know, which is going to be fierce and important in this seat. Matty Taylor about to break up the field now with the ball.
Winning the short kick out was Taylor. And again, showing that speed that he shows for Cork over the past couple of seasons. Hopefully be in the plans of Ronan McCarthy for this coming winter season. Here's Kieran O'Sullivan popping the ball over the top. 50-50 ball, but the Bandon man threw his body on the line there. Here's Darragh Moynihan with a shot, and now the scores are getting with Stanton. Stanton it is, and Stanton's getting the score for Mallow there.
Yeah, Stanton, as I said, you know, big player for Mallow. When he gets on he doesn't look the most mobile, but he's a big stride and covers a lot of ground. Good score.
Yeah, it's a fantastic score. I mean, a lot of the scoring that we're seeing is really good stuff. The quality is kept up. Like I think both teams look, you know, impressively fit, and you know, it's a consequence of regular games, and like club players are blue in the face from saying it with so long that they need, you know, certainty in fixtures and more regular games, and I think you're seeing the benefit in these two teams now at the moment.
As a free goes backwards to Pat Prendergast. Bandon now just to try and get a score. Mallow leading by that solitary point as we close out the opening regulation 30. Peter Murphy in possession, evading two tackles, but under pressure now from Ryan Harkin. Harkin fouling though. Advantage being played and has accrued. Murphy now sending down towards this near touchline. Here's Mikey Cahalan offloading the ball to James O'Donovan. Cahalan offering his services once again. Right on the Mallow 65-metre line. Great ball off the banana skin. It's worked out well for Bandon though. Here's Darren Crowley offloading it over. It was a dangerous ball though to Cian O'Mahony. And now the Bandon attacker O'Mahony is fouled inside there, and it's going to be a free from about 23 yards out.
Yeah, you know, Mallow will be disappointed with that because they had 3 men around the ball and still someone got a hand in the back when there was no real danger. So now this looks like a fairly handy tap over free for Mark Sugu to put Bandon back on level terms.
There was a bit of an opening there for Bandon, and it looked like they had lost it, but it was retrieved by a beautiful pickup by Cian O'Mahony, and then he drew the foul. So, you know, you'd expect Mark to put this over and level the game.
Sugu's already got 10 points to his tally from place ball in this championship. With 14 points coming into it, he was the 5th highest scorer of this Premier Intermediate Football Championship. And he's probably gone to the top of the leaderboard already with that early goal. Sugru with a chance to level the game and converts it, John.
Yeah, and look, I suppose it's rare enough that guys strike the ball off the ground these days. It's nice to see it. But Mark's been very impressive in the first half. He's been in and out of Cork setups before, but if he's available, I'm sure he's someone Ronan McCarthy might be interested in talking to.
As that kick out is sent over towards the far side, and it's been won over there by Ronan Crowley. Sends it low inside towards Barry Collins, who hasn't seen too much possession today. Did get a score earlier on. 50-50 ball. Cahalan has got the ball inside. So there's a chance for Bandon, but intercepted inside there was James Loughrey. He had the vision to get in between the two Bandon attackers and knocked it out for a 45.
There was only a fingernail in that. If he didn't get it, I think it was definitely a goal for Bandon. But great touch by James Loughrey there. But again, as I said, Bandon creating the openings there in terms of, maybe getting goal scoring chances. I'd probably like to see Mallow be a little bit more direct at times into their full forward line, because the build-up is slow and Bandon are getting numbers back.
Yeah, Bandon are getting on top a little bit now in the last 3 or 4 minutes, and it's an interesting game in the sense that both forward lines seem to have the beating of their opposite numbers. So it's high scoring, it's impressive stuff, and it's enjoyable for us to watch.
Sure is, and I hope you at home are all enjoying the coverage so far this afternoon. As Sugru takes that 45 and skates just inside the far upright. A great score, and Bandon retake the lead. First time since the 9th minute.
For the 45 there, he had a lot more in that. Great composure, straight as a die, in contrast with maybe Mallow, who had a few bad misses from frees.
As that kick out is taken short, and Matty Taylor spun into the tackle and won it with good intention indeed. Andrew Cashman offloading to Trevor McAvoy. He's switching the play over towards that far side of the field. A lot of Mallow attacks starting over that far side. Here's Shane Merritt offloading the ball to Stanton and then towards the centre of the park. Ryan Harkin. Measured ball inside the 45 metre line, but just not measured well enough by Kevin Sheehan. And a chance now for Bandon to try and relieve the pressures. Cian O'Mahony offloading it short to Peter Murphy. But a poor ball by Murphy, which allows Mallow to regain composure. Bill Myers sending it inside towards Darren Moynihan. There's a quick ball turned inside there by Kieran O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan passed the ball outside to Owen Stanton. So a chance here for Kevin Sheehan. Sheehan looking to level the game, and Sheehan has levelled the game once again.
Great point by Kevin Sheehan there. You'd like to see him on the ball a bit more. What I've seen of him in the past, once he gets a bit of space, he's a good man to get a score. So that's why I'm saying if Mallow could be a bit more direct, they might make a bit more progress.
Level game as we're into the final minute of regulation time. And a chance now for Bandon to set off another attack. Long ball once again by Brian Crowley, but the Bandon attacker there, it looked like Mikey Cahalan just couldn't catch the ball in the sun. And it is really a glaring sun here this afternoon in Killarney. Possession with Moynihan, sending it long from the halfway line, going into that top left corner, and Kieran O'Riordan is in the foot race and wins the foot race. Offloads the ball to Sean McDonald. McDonald has turned on a sixpence. McDonald walking inside. Is there a chance of a goal inside here? There is for Stanton, and Stanton's buried to the back of the net, and right on the stroke of half time, Mallow have got a second goal.
Yeah, again, Cian O'Riordan involved. A long ball in, which I'd been suggesting with a while. Long ball in, Cian O'Riordan wins it. Sean O'Donnell, who has been quite quiet, took on his man, beat him, and many players would have been happy to take the point, but he had the composure, passed the ball across the square, goal.
Yeah, look, that could be a killer blow for Bandon just before half time. I mean, they probably deserve in the balance of play to go in at least level, but how will they react to that is crucial, because it's been a cracking first half.
As Bandon have conceded a line ball, and James Loughrey saying, let's go along with this one, and he does that. It's 1-on-1 inside the full forward line, and Bandon looking to try and turn it over, and they have through James O'Donovan. But how crucial is that goal going to be right on the stroke of half time? Here's Peter Murphy in possession. Murphy trying to look for options. Well, the option is to go high with it. He's
No overlap here.
it's on indeed, Conor. Here's David Crowley now in the centre of the park. Can they try and work to get a score? So late tackle inside there though, but Robert Whelan says it's a legal tackle. Ronan Crowley in possession now. Looking to try and turn on the burners. But had to return back outside. They're halfway between the 45 and 65. And Crowley now again going for that long ball cross field. And is there a chance here now for Barry Collins? And Collins has been tripped inside. And Collins under pressure and has fouled the ball.
Yeah, look, I think it could have been a free in on that occasion. I think, look, to be fair to Robert, I like the way he's reffed the game. He definitely comes from the same Ahada school of refereeing as Conor Coonan. Put the whistle in the pocket and let him get on with it.
I'm surprised to say you'd like that, John.
I'm not sure I liked it that much when fellas were hammering off me in Packy Keeve, but it does make the game enjoyable. I think that was probably a free in. Maybe Barry overplayed it slightly. On the balance, I thought there was a free in earlier for Ryan Harkin on the other side. But look, Robert is clearly refereeing it. He likes to load a little bit of physicality, and when you have consistency from the ref, you don't mind.
2.5 minutes in this injury time, but turnover ball poor by Kevin Doyle. Now a chance for Mark Sugru. Tackle inside there by Matty Taylor. A second chance for Sugru. Snaps around the body. A super score. An exhibition of shooting here, Conor, on the stroke at half time. Mallow leading by 2 points.
Yeah, look, we've seen a lot of good performances in the championship to date, but this performance by Mark Sugru out centre forward and top drawer, absolutely, from play, from freeze, general movement, absolutely. And whilst they're down 2 points at this stage, with Sugru out there playing like that, they're still well in this game.
Sure are indeed, John. And that second goal, right in the stroke of the 30th minute from Owen Stanton, is the real difference between the two sides.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a crucial score at a crucial time. But to be fair to Bandon, to reply like that and bring it back to 2 points, that's a little bit of a psychological kind of blow, as Conor was saying earlier, in response. And it was very important, I think, for Bandon to get it back to that 2 point margin. It's been a superb first half. I wouldn't like to jinx the second half, but I hope it's just as good as that and it goes down to the wire, because this is one of the best games of football I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to keep that pace going in this heat, but like as John said, standard has been very good. All right, there have been a few misses, but the honesty of effort, it's been hard, physical, and fellas have got on with it in general. There's no missing or anything going on, so you're really looking forward to the second half. And again, as John said, that point before half-time there for Bandon was crucial, because the goal was, it was a bit of a sucker punch, but the fact that it could get a point on the board, bring it back down to 2, still well in the game. And
you mentioned about the intensity of the heat. It is really, really warm. You mightn't see it at home, folks, but it is really, really warm here this afternoon. I know the two of you are in t-shirts there beside me, but it is getting really warm.
Yeah, look, it's been the warmest day this year, I'd imagine, and I'd say, look, fellas are going to feel that, and I suppose this is going to be very important in terms of what bench both teams have. I'm not so sure. Mallow certainly, and the performance against the Rogue brought on a few guys. They'd be reasonably enough covered. I don't know how Bandon would be in that regard, John. Would they have a few subs that might add something to it?
Yeah, look, I'm not that familiar with the most of their substitutes, so I don't know have they got the strength and depth to come into it as well. And it could play a factor definitely in the heat. So both teams are playing well. I don't think the management will do an awful lot in changing. Maybe they'll be looking at their defensive matchups, because both forward lines have been on top. Both teams are kind of taking advantage of what little bit of shade there is here in Blarney. But it's 50-50. It's all to play for. That goal gives Mallow a slight advantage, and you make them slight favourites. But the display we're seeing there from Mark Sugru, if he can keep that going in the second half, I wouldn't be surprised if Mallow decide to double team him. They've gone man for man and pushed up in it, but he's doing so much damage. You wouldn't be surprised if they try and double team him. Now they have Matty Taylor and James Lockery, both top class defenders, so they might just trust those guys that they'll improve and put a handle on them. But I mentioned it earlier. I mean, this is one of the advantages of the club season being before the inter-county season as well. I said it already. Ronan McCarthy must be looking at this and saying, "What can I do to get this guy involved?" Because he's been outstanding now.
Yeah, no, as you said, John, absolutely exceptional. And Peter Murphy's been very good there at centre back. I think Bandon have kind of sorted out their issues in relation to the kick-outs as well. They've got the last few away, which is, in the modern game now, kick-outs is just so important that, particularly in relation to your own, you get away, and if you can put as much pressure on the opposition as possible, to be fair to Mallow, I think they've used Matty Taylor on a few occasions there to get short, but it's just so important to get that position. But I did think, and I said it earlier before the Keane goal there, like that Mallow needed to get that ball in a bit faster and a bit longer. It was a small bit slow, and Bandon were good at counteracting. But so I think if they've, I think they'll be trying a bit more of that long ball. You see, when you get tied up, and it's like any of us, when you get tied up in the possession game, you forget about the long ball totally, and the poor old corner forward, as John knows inside, is waiting all day.
Well, you told him 10 years ago in the final, didn't you?
And it didn't come in, and all of a sudden then someone is waving the finger at him.
Yeah, I know that feeling, definitely. Yeah.
Just to change tune for a second, because this week has been a very busy week for the county board. 2 games called off today, Conor. The Nemo Ballincollig game obviously called off on Thursday, but then the late call this morning of the Newcestown Bars game. COVID-19 has had a detrimental effect across all of society, but especially in GA.
Yeah, and look, I suppose, you're very disappointed for all the clubs involved, but look, the seriousness of the situation doesn't allow you to do any more. You just worry when we look at trends outside of games and that sort of thing. Very worrying time for people, and just so important that we all try and do the best we can to ensure that this can be stopped in as much as we can stop it. Obviously, on the other side of it, Ron has mentioned the club scene, and that I suppose certainly for people like Ron and McCarthy in the inter-county scene, this is an absolute nightmare. Championship going back already, probably a bit behind the curveball there in terms of other counties, because some counties have squeezed it in that, so that's making it difficult.
And obviously, what also makes it difficult is the dual club aspect, because Nemo or Newcestown, I should say, are in action next Sunday against Father O'Neill. So that game now against the Bears would probably have to be played before the hurling game, I would suspect.
Yeah, look, it's a delicate one. I don't envy anyone the task of making those decisions. It's very tough on Newcestown. I mean, to be fair to them, they're a club which I have fierce respect for. The way they can manage both codes, and from what it would look to be limited numbers, they're getting the most out of them. For them now to be placed at a disadvantage would be disappointing. But equally, there is the other side of it. Games have to be finished, championships have to be finished.
And that's probably the frustration for Ronan McCarthy, because he's got 2 league games coming up on the 17th of October and the 24th of October. So he'll want to have everybody fit and well for, say, 2 weeks in training, John, before they resume that Allianz League.
Yeah, look, I think they were back training last week, and I think there was maybe 9 guys at it, so it is tough on the inter-county managers at the moment. But I think at the moment we're seeing the value of the club to the GAA, and I think Conor said it there. It's very difficult to manage if you have COVID cases cropping up within panels, and the county board are doing their best, and it's a difficult situation to manage. But we just hope as GAA people that these championships can be finished out, that the inter-county championships can be run. They've given people a little bit of solace and a little bit of entertainment in what's been a overwhelmingly difficult year. So we hope that those games can go ahead. We hope that the tests that have been done come back negative and things can carry on. But as Conor said, it's important to kind of go through the right process as well.
Sure is indeed. And of course, the big story of the week, I suppose, was the government announcement on Friday with having crowds back, and great to see people here today and over the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think people at home are dying looking for it. All right, look, the likes of ourselves doing the streaming, and that is one thing, but look, I think people like to be here in the flesh and get involved in the atmosphere and the environment and things. So look, it's great like that. But I suppose when we talk about the championships overall, I suppose the thing that COVID has done for us in terms of forcing us into situations where we would never have went before, there's an awful lot of lessons to be learned from this, and hopefully that we can learn that, when we hopefully have a COVID-free environment next season.
Yeah, and I suppose you mentioned about the championships earlier on, the 2 teams coming out of the qualifiers. It was supposed to be 3, with 9 teams coming out of each championship, but now it's only 6, and it really has turned it into a real tight affair across all championships.
Yeah, I really like the system. I think the vast majority of games have nearly every game really, because when you bring relegation into it, has something riding on it. So there's kind of none of this kind of damn squib kind of dead rubber games that you might have in certain championships, and it gives players a couple of opportunities. If you get 3 games and you're not good enough to take them, then you can't have any complaints. You're not being caught. And then you have the knockout element that we have here today, and it's pure old school championship, and it's a great system. I would like to see it continue next year as much as possible. It's just about where do we fit it into the calendar, and I think that has to come from Croke Park, You know, this is kind of pulled the curtain back for a lot of people now to see, you know, all these guys deserve to be playing regularly and deserve the opportunity to play, you know, games in summer weather, in good weather or autumn weather, whatever it might be, and get that fixture certainty and, you know, an increase in the competitive games they play.
Okay, let's turn our attentions back to the field now, Conor, and it's Mallow leading 2-7 to 1-8. Donald Kelleher there on the line for Bandon. What's in the mind? What are you saying to the players?
I'd say he won't be saying do a whole pile different. I'd say try and get that ball into the forwards there a bit livelier, and you know, there's plenty of scoring power up there, so it's going to be nip and tuck, just scanning around the pitch there now, and I don't see any changes at the minute in terms of personnel or that, but I certainly would think that we'll see some before the water break anyway, because, you know, as I said earlier, this heat is just unreal.
Sure is indeed. As the sun starts to die down a small to what compared to the heat it was over 40 minutes ago. Robert Whelan starting to watch to get this game back underway, and Mallow looking to try and open up proceedings with a ball in from Ryan Harkin into the full forward line. Recycle outside to Cian O'Riordan. And O'Riordan, within 10 seconds of the resumption of the second half, has got the point for Mallow.
Yeah, look, Cian is enjoying himself. You know, I've been following him a little bit on Twitter, and he said he was very excited for Championship Sunday. So he's producing the goods again for Mallow. You know, he's a club legend for Mallow, to be fair.
Mallow now looking to try and take the game by the scruff of the neck. Here's Kieran O'Sullivan popping the ball outside, but over-carried just, I would think, Conor. He's going to be a free out for Bandon.
Yeah, but look, he certainly over-carried, but I saw Kieran against Éire Óg, and he was absolutely brilliant, but the finish wasn't there, and I get the sense today he's under the instruction, don't shoot, lay it off to someone.
Ball just remaining in play. I should add that there is a free advantage for Bandon, and there is a change for Bandon there as well. We'll gather that in a moment. James Welch, it is who is into play. Here's Cian O'Mahony, dangerous ball into the centre of the park. I was just going to add that the two midfielders, Darragh Moynihan is wearing number 9 now, and Owen Stanton is wearing number 8. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Here's Ryan Harkin, 50 yards out from goal. Mallow now looking to try and extend it out to a 4-point game, and Harkin still in possession. A searing 30-yard run over towards that far side of the field, but he recycles the ball back outside to Michael O'Rourke and out towards Sean McDonald. Here comes Moynihan through this. In fact, the Stanton it is playing to the centre of the park. A chance for a goal here for McDonald. Cross the park over towards O'Riordan. O'Riordan stopped the side. Second chance for McDonald. Saved again. Still another opportunity for Stanton, and Stanton plays it left and wide. I would think it is going to be a wide ball.
Yeah, it was definitely wide, I think.
Hold on a second, because, sorry lads, I'm going to jump in. It's going to be checked inside there, and the sideline official's going in to say he's just going to check with Rob Whelan, and there was a bit of clumsiness inside. There was a chance there for Stanton inside there as well as McDonald. It's McDonald who had the last shot. Cian O'Riordan's ball was saved, and the score will go down on the record books to Sean McDonald.
Yeah, look, it was hard to see. I kind of thought it looked wide from here. You know, it was a great bit of action again. A super save from Pat Prendergast, because, you know, Mallow cut Bandon open. Cian was in one-on-one, and you'd expect him to bury it again like he did in the first half, but Pat made a great save. The rebound came out then. The rebound came out, and they almost had another goal and ended up with a point. I don't know, we'd need to see it in the camera again to see whether it was over.
But this is the funny thing with crowds in the round. They're all no shouting at the referee where they wouldn't have been over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Here over on that far side is Sean McDonald. Ball squirting through for Mallow. His soccer shot, chance of a goal off the post from the shot of Michael O'Rourke. And Pat Prendergast now trying to clear these lines. And here comes Peter Murphy with a golden opportunity for his 3rd goal for Mallow, Conor.
Bandon really need to settle now and get a hold of the ball for a minute, because Mallow certainly seem to have him on the rack. But here we go, going forward now.
David Crowley winning a free after the tackle there of Moynihan. Cian O'Mahony now under pressure. O'Mahony's arm was being pulled illegally, says our Haddo official, so it's going to be a free for Bandon. What can they muster now? Is there a chance inside here? The score from Bandon would be crucial, but Matty Taylor has turned it over. And Taylor's ended up on the floor. Play on, says the referee. Lockery offloading the ball to Ryan Harkin. But it's going to be a free, an indirect free it will be. Just an injury there to Matty Taylor.
That was a crucial interception by Matty Taylor, because I think with a better hand pass, if the hand pass had gone to hand, Bandon were through with a 2-on-1 again. And again, both forward lines are showing the capacity to kind of cut open and make goal chances. Connor's right that Bandon really need to settle, because Mallow have come out much the stronger start of the second half. And the only consolation for Bandon is that they could have conceded 2 goals and they've only conceded a point. So still 2 points in it by the scoreboard.
Yeah, some query there now about the scoreline there. Not 100% sure is that right, John? 2-8 to 1-9.
Yeah,
It's 2-9 to 1-8.
I would think so. Yeah, I think so. The scoreboard is wrong. Yeah.
Someone needs to get that.
So that's the scoreboard on the field we speak of. Hopefully someone might be able to get some word on it. In fact, this the club secretary who was on the line, Jim McAvoy, is going to go down and tell his clubmates down there. So that's going to be clarified.
Yeah.
With the resumption of play from their own 65-metre line from Ryan Harkin. He plays it short to Matty Taylor. 1-2 between the two of them in the centre of the park. And here comes Taylor once again. Walking inside. Back outside to Harkin. And can Mallow press on the advantage? MacDonald popping the ball off inside towards Owen Stanton. Stanton working away inside. Is there a chance for Owen Stanton? Is he being held inside? No, says our official. Play continues on. Chance for O'Riordan off the left peg, but goes to the left-hand side and wide.
Yeah, look, Owen Stanton's having a good game for Mallow at midfield. He's driving forward with his runs, and Bandon are struggling to contain him. Again, possibly looking for a free in there, but ended up with the Keane putting it wide.
Bandon a bit static now. No one looking for the ball here. We'll have to go along. Crossfield ball. Good crossfield ball. Watching the hop now.
Ball has gone in and it's gone to Brian Crowley down towards this near touchline in front of us. Under pressure now from Sean MacDonald. Ball's offloaded though to James Welch. And they're going to recycle the ball in towards the centre of the park. Ronan Crowley. A very central role in the second half. Offloading to Dylan O'Donovan. Again, Mallow just dropping players back in front of that full forward line. They see the threat, but they can't hold off the threat of this man, Mark Sugru. Lochry's done very well to dispossess him. And a great win there for Lochry. And there's one there by Moynihan. As a run through the centre of the park, here's Matty Taylor now on the counter-attack for Mallow. What can they work from here? Taylor working his way inside, offloads it inside. It's a 2-on-2 situation. A chance here for Ryan Harkin off the left peg, gone in and over the bar.
Yeah, Mallow certainly to grab the initiative now in this half, and they're stretching it out a bit. They're just about to introduce a sub now at this stage. Pa Hurley is coming in there. Not sure who's coming off yet. Sean MacDonald coming off there. So Pa Hurley's a guy with plenty of experience again to add to it, but Bandon certainly, they need to get a score on the board now. We need to get Sugar on the ball there, and for else the game will slip away from them. Yeah,
look, it's a strong start to the second half from Mallow. 5 points up. Mark Sugu, as good and all as he is, he probably should have used the support there that time. You're not going to beat James Lochry all day long. He's too good a player to kind of let you do that to him. So, Connor's right. Bandon have a lot to do here. They need to settle down, get the ball to their dangerous forwards in good positions, but they can't rely too much on Mark as an individual.
As that ball walked up toward that far side, Darren Crowley in possession. Crowley working his way over towards that 20-metre line over that far side. He seems confident enough to take the man on. Swings a snap around the body, lands short, and Kevin Doyle now has a chance to clear the lines with a poor shot there from Darren Crowley. Conor.
Yeah, a little bit of panic now when composure is needed there, just to slow it down, wait for a player to come off and pop it off. But Mallow certainly full of running now.
Matty Taylor in possession, trying to put on the counter-attack. There's a one-on-one opportunity inside. If Taylor can see it, he does. Sends it inside. There's a chance here now for the substitute, Pa Hurley. He turns back on his right peg. It's a super score from Pa Hurley, and that now extends it out to 6 points, John.
Yeah, look, we talked at half time if the benches could have an impact given the heat and the number of games that the two teams had played. But that was a great score from the sub with his first touch there, Pa Hurley. 6 point game. It'll slip away from Bandon very quickly if they don't react.
Yeah, it's an option Peter Murphy, but no one showing for the ball. Yes, maybe we've got Sugru on it now.
And he does very well just to put a left hand to it under pressure with Matty Taylor. Sends it long inside to a one-on-one ball. Both players fighting for it. And Bill Myers picks up the ball cleanly. And playing it out through the channels. Here's Lockery coming out now, walking it up towards the 45-metre line. Easily gets around David Crowley on that occasion. And they're walking across from Ryan Harkin over towards that far side. Kieran O'Sullivan playing it in towards the top of the right, towards Kevin Sheehan. Sheehan turns back on his left. Sheehan with a snap shot around, but trailing to the left-hand side and wide.
Yeah, look, Kevin Sheehan, you'll be banking on him to get a score there now, but look, it's looking difficult for Bandon now at this stage, even though I think we're going into a water break or something now at this stage.
It's a substitution, in fact, just Jonathan Mulcahy's in for David Crowley.
Yeah, they need a change. I think they've kind of gone out of it around midfield. It's a great kick out, and he should have caught that.
And here's Mulcahy getting his first possession in the game, playing it back towards Peter Murphy. Murphy now under pressure, trying to find the man outside, plays it back towards James O'Donovan, and that relieves the pressure outside as Jonathan Mulcahy ghosted over towards that far side of the field. Bandon really need a score, haven't scored since the end of that first half through Mark Sugru, and Mulcahy's ball that was a 50-50 ball, poorly turned over, and Matty Taylor, the orchestrator back there and defensively, winning the ball.
Matty's been pivotal there on a few turnovers and that, and setting up counter-attacks and that, so it's really...
Is that ball
really
sent
very
in?
important. Can Kevin Sheehan get this ball?
Sent into the corner towards Sheehan by Kieran O'Riordan. What can they work from here? Goes all the way across the face of this goal. There's a chance here for Moynihan inside, but it's going to be a free out. It was a push in the back, John.
Yeah, no, correct decision. Dangerous ball across. James O'Donovan did well in the end to kind of get there before the oncoming Owen Stanton, I think so. Look, another change for Mallow. They obviously feel they have the quality in reserve to make an impact here. Matty Taylor's after coming onto an awful lot of ball there now to start of the second half. He's becoming very influential, so he's grappling with Mark Sugru off the ball here, so that's a kind of a game deciding battle there.
That has been Bandon's fortunes in this second half as that ball goes out over the sideline. The substitution there is number 18 Owen Kelleher is on for.
Yeah, he's come on.
He's come on instead of Kevin Sheehan. Is that possession for Bandon now? And trying to work their way out through Ronan Crowley. Dylan O'Donovan now in possession. And again, Bandon leading the score, but there's a very risky ball worked out there. Brian Collins offloading outside to Darren Crowley. Crowley, shot going in, great score, and that's what Bandon need, Conor.
Yeah, badly needed score there now for Bandon. Need to get it set up quick and try and push Mallow now on the kick out and keep the pressure on, because they really need to get a few more scores on the board.
Yeah, second point for Darren. A good score, better option taken that time. The last shot he took probably wasn't the right option. I think Bandon are making another change here now. So Dylan O'Donovan looks like he's going off, and Philip Crowley has come on.
So substitutions galore in this second half. As the play resumes from the kick out of Kevin Doyle down towards this near touchline. Great mark claimed inside there by Michael O'Rourke inside his own 65-metre line. Plays it long towards Pat Hurley, already getting himself on the score sheet. Where's he going to work this ball? Works it outside towards Ryan Harkin. Harkin offloading to Matty Taylor, the ever exuberant Taylor. Playing it outside towards Michael O'Rourke once again. And Mallow now just looking to try and punch holes in this Bandon defence. Harkin playing a dangerous ball inside. Inside there is Cian O'Riordan, turns his man in the sixpence, and O'Riordan sending the ball in and over the bar. And O'Riordan now is really showing his lights in the second half.
Yeah, look, Cian, as I said earlier, he's really enjoying himself. Cian and myself made our debuts for Cork the same night, and he kicked 4 points. He was man of the match. He kicked 4 points off Seamus Moynihan, so kind of shows the quality he has, and has been doing it for Mallow for so long.
Philip Crowley fouled in the centre of the field there. There's a chance now for Bandon possibly to try and get themselves on the score sheet, but it's a big scoreline now they're going to have to try and get themselves back from. 6 points is the deficit. With a poor ball there, and Sugru just throwing the boot in, trying to dispossess Taylor, but fouls Taylor on this occasion. It's going to be a free out.
Yeah, Mark Sugru hasn't been in the game now in the second half, and you just wonder at this stage, would you put him on the edge of the square and maybe play a bit of long ball in, because certainly it's not happening for him out there at centre forward.
Yeah, it's possible that they could start looking at a change there. Matty Taylor is kind of after getting the better of it in the second half, and they do need Mark to to get the scores for Bandon. But they need to get better all over the pitch, you know, and it's not down to one guy either.
Peter Murphy now looking to try and bring Bandon back into the game. And they need scores fairly quick now before this water break. We're coming into that territory between the 15th and 20th minute of a half. Here's Darren Crowley. Crowley working his way inside towards the 21-metre line. There's a chance here, a goal, but it's gone into the side netting, gone left and wide. Chance for Bandon, Conor.
Yeah, great run, but just ran out of space, I suppose. But it's look, all the small little things seem to have gone wrong for Bandon. Little slight mistakes, dispositions, and I suppose, look, when you're playing 6 points behind, that's what happens. Like, people try maybe the complicated thing when the simple thing is on. But they need scores now, they need to get them fairly soon.
So the kick out now from Kevin Doyle, and again Doyle goes long with this one. Harkin is underneath it, but it's punched down by Peter Murphy, and Bandon now winning the breaking ball. Is this now maybe a purple patch that they can pick up? Ronan Crowley working his way inside the 45-metre line. Advantage being played to Crowley. And no advantage, and it's the second foul he's going to give up for. Quickly taken inside the goal chance for Cian O'Mahony. Great save inside by O'Mahony, but finished to the net by Philip Crowley, and Bandon out of nowhere, they're right back in it.
Yeah, look, I suppose good advantage played by the referee, but Mallow will be a bit sick with that. They stopped up when the free was given, and now that really opens it up again, like goal in it, one kick of a ball. And certainly, you know, young Crowley there, Ronan, at 15 has been causing a lot of problems there in the last few minutes. If he gets on the ball, he's got a lot of pace and he's testing Mallow at every stage. Mallow will be disappointed now.
Oh, and just in time for the water break. That's a huge goal, because Mallow looked to be in complete control before that went in. You know, bit of quick thinking by Ronan, free into a man in a good position. I thought he could have taken it further. He probably shot a bit early, but you know, it squeezed under, and Philip Crowley was there to finish it off. That brings Bandon right back into it, and it's game on again. Yeah,
sure is game on, but that first 10 minutes you mentioned, John, they were all over. Scores from Cian O'Riordan, Sean McDonald, Ryan Harkin, and a great score from Pat Hurley, literally on 30 seconds on the field.
Absolutely, yeah. So like the whole Mallow forward line are all contributing. I think at the start of the second half, Bandon were just looking to see Mark Sugu can do this on his own. But to be fair, look, Darren and Ronan have both chipped in with points there, and you know, that goal there from Philip Crowley as well, an impact off the bench again. So they're going to need that, and you know, it's nicely balanced now again. And
you did mention it, that the benches are going to be the crucial part here, as this heat now, it's going to take a toll on players in this final quarter.
Yeah, and like, you know, before the goal there, you know, we were saying, look, Mallow will see this out now. It's quite comfortable. They were doing all the running. Bandon, small mistakes happening, and Mallow capitalising. But now we're a one-goal game, and it's, you know, there's a bit of a psychological edge here for Bandon if they can grab the first score, you know, after the throw-in, like. Yeah,
look, pressing this kick out now, making sure they're pushed up and they don't give away a soft kick out. Press now and try and get a couple of scores back to chip away back, and you know, we could be in for an exciting finale.
It could be indeed. Both sides, their average scoring in this championship from the 3-round robin games was 112. They've already, Mallow have surpassed it by that goal. Bandon on that average now, as the play is going to resume from the kick out of Pat Doyle. As Robert Whelan says, let's get this final quarter of this Bon Secures Premier Intermediate Championship quarter final underway. And Kevin Doyle does that. Over to the far side, it's a clean mark there taken, and it's sent a long ball in, looking for Hurley inside. Going to break down inside to Owen Kelleher. Kelleher getting already 2-1 in this championship already. Kelleher got himself on the score sheet in this championship. A great block inside there by the Bandon defenseman. Another chance for Mallow. A super save inside there by Pat Prendergast. Michael O'Rourke in one-on-one, but a great save to knock it out for a 45.
Yeah, look, if Cian O'Riordan is doing it for Mallow with the guts of 20 years, then Pat Prendergast is doing it for Bandon for even longer, and he's made two really important saves there in this half, and you know, his kickouts are pretty solid as well. So you know, it's like two guys who've given everything to their club and owe them nothing, but are still doing it, and you know, that was a crucial save just to keep Bandon in the game.
That's fantastic, as you said, John. Pat is a long time at it, but look, he's not none of his sharpness there today. Like, two as good as saves as you'll see, whether it's inter-county club or whatever. Like, you know, great organiser, great clubman there on that. So great to see it happen. This is an important kick now for Mallow. It would put 4 points in it if Ryan Harkin can put this over the bar.
So chance now for Harkin to extend that lead for Mallow back out to 4 points. It's been kept clean from going out, but the Bandon defence have won us inside there through James Walsh. Plays it outside towards Philip Crowley, who scored that goal only moments ago. And the third substitute in the second half, Jonathan Crowley, sending it along up the touchline, but it looks like that the Mallow defence will be first to it, and namely Bill Myers. And a foul there, and probably a speaking to as well. A bit of a clumsy challenge, really, Conor.
Yeah, he came in late there and looked, referee's going to book him now. But look, there's more desperation than any malice intended in it.
I think Mark O'Regan has come in from Bandon there. I'm not sure, is it Mikey Cahalan that's gone off?
So this free going to be taken by James Lockery. Long ball sent by Lockery in towards the 45-metre line. Inside there is Pa Hurley. Is he going to get a second score from outside the D exclusion zone, trying to turn, but doesn't turn enough, and it goes to the right and wide.
Yeah, Mallow have a lot of space now because I suppose Bandon have pushed up the field in that, and there's plenty of space and plenty of opportunity. But look, Bandon need to get the next score.
Pat Prendergast with the kick out, broken down by Mallow, but Bandon trying to win out through Brian Crowley. Ended up on the floor, and can Bandon now try and gain possession and try and get some composure? Well, for a start, they've won a free in the middle of the field through Philip Crowley. Running through is Jonathan Mulcahy, but it was a poor ball inside there by Darren Crowley, and that's allowed James Lockery to come onto the ball, break it away, and Mallow now on the counter-attack. One man inside the full forward line, that's Pa Hurley. Can he keep it from going out? He can. Hurley working inside, and here comes Lockery. He kept on going in that run. Plays the ball outside towards Kieran O'Sullivan. Kieran turns back on his right. O'Sullivan, great score from a Mallow point of view, and that extends the lead back out to 4 points.
Yeah. Look, Patrick Hurley has made a very positive impact off the bench for Mallow. Set up James Lockery there to take it on, and ended up with the score from Kieran O'Sullivan. 4 point lead now for Mallow. They're still favourites here.
Bandon have won a free off the base of the kick out. The referee says bring it back, but Mark Sugru looking to try and get involved in this game, has to play it backwards to Brian Crowley. And Crowley now, how can Bandon go from here? They need to try and get a score. Harkin putting Brian Crowley under pressure as Mark O'Regan has entered the field. Jonathan Mulcahy switching the play towards Cian O'Mahony. And O'Mahony now looking to try and play a measured ball to the top of the left. Keeping it very well. He's kept it in, and he's gone out for a wide ball. Some indecision from the umpire, but goes out left and wide.
Bit unlucky, good high ball. It must be only marginally out there, and it would have been interesting if he had kept the ball in play, because it looked to open up inside. But Mallow now taking their time about the kick out, knowing that the clock is in their favour.
We're inside the final 8 minutes of regulation time. Of course, we'll have a bit of injury time. There was 5 subs in that second half, and also we had that water break. So over 10 minutes to play, as that ball is won inside there by Bandon. Trying to break out with the tackle. There's Philip Crowley, sends a long ball inside. Mark O'Regan just couldn't get a hand to it, and James Lockery, well, in fact Bill Myers was fouled there. Was a push in the back, and Lockery with the possession in his hand, and Mallow just looking to try and slow down the tempo small bit.
Yeah, Bill Myers has been responsible for a few good interceptions there today. I'd say he'll be looking to hold on to that jersey for the next day out, and has done well there.
Yeah, Bandon have two long balls into the forward line there, and failed to win both of them. They can't really afford not to convert their chances at this stage.
As that ball was missed by Cian O'Regan, and a chance now again for Bandon to build. Next score, as the old cliche goes, could be crucial, but a clumsy tackle there by Owen Stanton, and Ronan Crowley is not happy as what happened there, and there's going to be a speaking to. I think it was just an innocuous tackle there. Some attention going to be required, Conor.
Yeah, Ronan doesn't seem happy, but I think the initial challenge, the ref blew for the free, and I don't know that Ronan trying to exact some retribution in that. I'm not too clear.
Yeah, I think he's got a. Look, I think it looked like a close fist to the face. I think Ronan's got possibly some blood. Will have to go off. He's looking to continue on anyway. But it looked a foul. Straight in front of the referee, and he's looking for it.
And I will say this now, Rob Whelan must take control of this game. Ronan Crowley was trying to run in there before the Mallow player tripped himself up, really. But anyway, here's the free from Sugru from 45 yards out. On towards the onrushing wing back over that far side, Rob O'Driscoll. Driscoll with a shot! But great save inside there by Kevin Doyle. And Bandon now, are they going to try and pick up the pieces? But a poor pass outside. But two men throwing themselves onto the ball there. And Mallow are going to try and clear away with it. Here's Ryan Harkin, and he's got two men inside. One of those is Matty Taylor. Offloads to Jack Dillon, who's also into the fray. Dillon offloads to Matty Taylor. Taylor plays it back inside to Harkin, and Dillon kept on the run inside. Is there a chance for a goal for Dillon? But takes the score. Gone in and over the bar, and Jack Dillon has extended that lead now, Conor, out to 5 points.
Yeah, look, I suppose again, turnover from the back. Mallow had plenty of bodies going forward there. Jack Dillon, maybe was happy with his points. Certainly the goal was on, you would have thought. But look, at 5 points, Mallow looking fairly safe now at this stage. And again, their bench has probably been a bit more influential than what the Bandon bench has been.
Yeah, and maybe the rest week that Pat alluded to earlier has standing to him. But look, I suppose we complimented Pat Prendergast earlier. We have to compliment Kevin Doyle now. That was a very important save from Robert O'Driscoll. To deny Bandon a goal at one end and get a point at the other, that could be the deciding factor in this game.
Some mistakes, both defensively and offensively from both sides there, but ball's broken into the centre of the park. And here's really the first time we see Mark Sugru in some kind of space, but a poor ball by Sugru. Lockery read the situation, and he breaks out of the fence, plays in towards the centre of the park, towards Ryan Harkin. Switches the play towards Jack Dillon. And Dillon down towards his near touchline, towards Cian O'Riordan. Takes a shot from 35 yards out, and a super score off the left leg from Cian O'Riordan.
Yeah, look, what do you say? It's a bit like the wine. The older it gets, the better it gets. And by God, this fella's getting better every day.
Yeah, look, it's brilliant to see Cian playing so well. Like I said, I played under 21 with him and a couple of years with Cork as well. He wasn't involved in Cork during a few years. I wonder if we could find the Cork manager of the time to find out why that was. I don't know, but
on today's performance, you'll be telling him come back.
But yeah, no, it's fabulous football to see. Bandon probably need a goal at this stage.
Well, the one man who might be able to change that is Mark Sugru. He's under pressure over on that far side of the field. Some intense tackling from Matty Taylor, but he got the ball away to James Walsh. Walsh was a bit laboured going into that tackle though, I'm afraid. And Mallow have turned it over through Padder Hennessy, and a free out one as well by Hennessy. And it's going to be brought forward for some dissent. And James Lockery got a lashing out there from Ronan Crowley, and
Ronan could be in trouble here, I'd say.
Crowley has already spoken to the Bandon player. He's now speaking to Darren Crowley. You can see the frustrations now in the Bandon offence. Things haven't really gone their way in the second half.
No, there's been just small things where guys have had the ball, just spilled it at the last minute, and all those little crucial things have added up now to what's, is it a 6 point lead now for Mallow?
Yeah.
He's now speaking to Ronan Crowley. And 2 yellow cards dished out to the Crowley brothers. John, wouldn't be something that you would do back in the day.
Yeah, no, I
said
won't
they were
comment.
related to John now, all right, like.
Yeah, I don't know where they got the crankiness from. That must be Padraig's side. But no, look, the two lads have played well. They're getting a bit frustrated now, but that's kind of inevitable. We'll say it's something to do with the heat as well, maybe.
And I'd have played against their uncles in Udernit as well, I can assure you.
Through the middle is Peter Murphy. Murphy, can he try and get a score? There was a foul earlier on not on that player, I think. And there's a speaking to Matty Taylor, I think it is. And a yellow card going to be brandished to Taylor. So a chance now for Bandon as we enter the final 90 seconds. The scores needed now for Bandon. And Sugru now with the free place just inside that 45 metre line. And Sugu now bring this down to 5 points. Well, he's going to plant it in short towards the edge of the square. It's punched up by Doyle. Where's this ball going? It's gone out for a 45 and a second bite of the cherry for Bandon.
Yeah, time running out now for Bandon, and you know you must fancy defensively. They've plenty of numbers back now, Mallow, so it's going to be very difficult to get a goal in this tight situation.
Quick 45 was taken there, I should say. Played outside towards James Walsh. They're looking for the goal. Here's Sugru trying to take on 3 defenders. Snapped the shot up high to Gary Owen. Still in, no, just going out to the right or left and wide. It's a wasted opportunity, John.
Yeah, look, Mallow look like they're seeing it out now at this stage. I think the first half was very even, very close, really exciting stuff. Mallow have taken over a bit in the second half. The goal before half time, and then the few points they got after half time. They're deservedly in front now at this stage, and they look like they'll see it home.
As the kick out was taken by Pat Doyle.
Unless they make a mistake from a kick
Kevin
out.
Doyle, I should say, but it's turned over, and here comes Jonathan Mulcahy through the centre. Offloads it to Peter Murphy. It's Murphy being fouled inside there. No, says our referee, and play continues on. Matty Taylor winning that breaking ball, offloading it to Loughreen. Here come the 2 Cork players, 2 Cork defenders up through the centre of the park. They've been inspirational in the second half. A great ball inside to Taylor. Free mark to be taken, doesn't take it, plays on. And that ball goes out for a 45. It looked like to be touched off the Bandon player. And now it looks like as we enter injury time, Mallow's to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, look, over the hour, you can't have any complaints. I think they've been that bit superior. And I suppose the reality is, was it not for the goal that Bandon got, the second goal, the game would be gone by now. And look, that's not through any lack of effort on Bandon's part, but I just think Mallow had a bit too much power from today. Bandon have been very wholehearted, but it's been just one of those days where it didn't really go from like.
As that 45 goes into the left and wide, another change in the Mallow bench. This time it's going to be David Breen who's coming in, so they're using their 5 substitutions, and it's Shane Merritt coming off. And we mentioned about that. You mentioned about that, John, at half time about the bench, the 5 substitutes all used now, and the fresh legs going towards the end of this game.
Yeah, and look, I've been impressed by Mallow today. I'm not sure who they might face next, but they'll be a handful for any team in the Senior A Championship. As Conor said, it's not for want of effort from Bandon, but scoring 1-8 in the first half and only 1-1 in the second half kind of tells its own story.
Peter Murphy turned over there, and there's a 1-on-1 situation inside, but unfortunately for David Breen, just didn't get the ball over the top of the Bandon defender Brian Crowley. Can Bandon now muster a score? Nearly 2 minutes gone in this injury time. Being walked inside over there by Darren Crowley. He's in on goal, Crowley. It goes in and over the bar though. It's going to be a point for Bandon.
Yeah, and Bandon making a lot of progress down that left wing there at different stages with the Crowleys and that, but unfortunately they haven't got enough, on the scoreboard from it.
2:15 to 2:10. This is a big win for Mallow when the final whistle will go. And they'll be looking forward to a semi-final in the next fortnight against Fermoy, of course. Fermoy beating Bandon with a late goal in the 3rd round of Group 2 in the round robin series. It's going to be a big win for Mallow, of course. Both sides playing in the hurling championship in the same group, putting out a 123 apiece cracker. But it's going to be Mallow who are going to be claiming the spoils. Matty Taylor winning and intercepting that ball, playing it outside towards Pat Hurley. Hurling out with time onto the onrushing Loughreen, who offloads outside to Breen. David Breen pops the ball over the top. Jack Dillon already has himself on the score sheet, and he's going to double his tally, getting the second score on the sheet.
Yeah, Mallow have the legs now as well, I suppose. And look, that's kind of as much psychological as anything. When you're up 6 or 7 points, it's easy to find that extra bit. Whereas if you're down the same margin, it's tough going.
And it's going to be a big win here for Mallow. Bandon now looking to try and get some possible consolation scores. Brian Crowley hand passing the ball over towards that far side of the field. Cian O'Mahony now being marshalled over there by Pat O'Hennessy. O'Mahony being fouled, and the free going to be awarded to Bandon. Looking to try and take the quick one as Darren Crowley sends it over towards this near touchline. Bandon trying to work the score through Ronan Crowley, and Ronan just, unfortunately, it's been one of those days for Bandon. And something happened off the ball there. I wonder, is Ronan Crowley being spoken to? Just trying to say, lads, let's finish out this game 15 on 15.
Well, look, I'm going to stick up for my cousin here. There's a lot of Mallow people looking for Ronan to be sent off, but it was Owen Stanton went in to taunt him after they dispossessed him there. So, look, I'm obviously biased, but I'm going to stick up for my cousin on that one.
I wasn't too clear in it, so I'll hold my wrist in it.
As this kick out from Kevin Doyle as we close out this Premier Intermediate Football Championship quarter final. Éire Óg with a massive win earlier on this afternoon. They'll face O'Donovan Rossa. And barring some late scores from Bandon, which don't look like to be coming, although that shot from Cian O'Riordan going really far wide to the left hand side. How much more time will Rob Whelan add on? Only the inevitable is waiting as that ball is sent out over towards that far side of the field. A push in the back on James Welch. He takes it quickly inside towards Crowley. And here come Bandon once again. Chancing enough for Cian O'Mahony, trying to take on the defender. And Rob Whelan now is stopping the watch because there's something going to have to be spoken to. Someone is going to be requiring and noting. It looks like Pat O'Hennessy. Pat Hurley is actually getting the black card.
Black card, yeah.
Pulling the man straight down. Conor?
Yeah, look, I don't think the ref had any option there, but again, difficult for Bandon to get anything out of this.
It's a low skinning shot going in there to the Mallow square, but they have dealt with it, and that has been their performance in this second half. They have been outstanding, and there goes the full-time whistle from Rob Whelan, and it's a big 6-point victory for Mallow as they drive on to the semi-finals where they'll face Fermoy.
Yeah, and look, I don't think anyone can have any complaints. And look, that's going to be a good North Cork derby. Won't be much in that, It's when you have those derby situations, form goes out the window and that sort of thing. But look, Mallow have been very impressive. I think they'll be probably a bit disappointed that they didn't have the game put away sooner than later. It took them a bit of time. As I said, conceded that goal, the Bandon second goal. If they hadn't got that, they'd have probably killed it. But if you're looking for a fault, that might be a fault. But other than that, some great performances there from Mallow. Loughrey, Matty Taylor, Keane inside in the corner, Staunton in the middle of the field. Yeah, very much on top.
With that goal right in the stroke of half time in the 31st minute from I think it's Darragh Moynihan. It's going down to the two number 8. 8 and 9 had changed. Moynihan getting that goal before half time, John, really put them in front. I suppose that gave them the initiative then to drive on in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. The first half was very even. Bandon would have probably thought they might have had a chance of going in ahead. They probably were the better team in the 10 minutes coming up to half time, but that goal put Mallow the 2 points up at half time, and then in the second half they really did take over. I think they just had a little bit more in the legs. We mentioned the rest week. This is eight games in 9 weeks for Bandon, and absolutely we're all calling for more games. But that's for a dual club. That is a punishing schedule as well. And look, Mallow are impressive. I think they're just the better team on the day. Second half, Matty Taylor probably came into it and quietened Mark Sugu, and they took over around midfield. And Cian O'Riordan and the substitutes did damage up front.
Yeah, I think the Matty Taylor thing was significant alone. Did he pick up a lot of breaking ball and that time? But he put the shackles on Mark Sugu, and that was where it kept Bandon open in the first half. He looked to do great damage, but in the second half, very quiet second half, Matty really got to grips with him.
He did, and he literally got to grips with it. Kind of watching it off the ball. He was being physical. He was, there was a little bit of pulling and hauling, but that's what you're going to get. Mark was outstanding in the first half. Maybe Bandon weren't quite at the races in the second half to give him the opportunity to show what he can do, but. Yeah, credit to Matty Taylor for kind of quietening Mark Sugu in the second. And
in fairness as well, you must give credit to James Loughrey. Loughrey was outstanding for fullback, making searing runs up through the middle.
Absolutely. But look, I'd have to give credit to Bandon, despite the margin of the scores and that sort of. They never at any stage threw in the towel. It was, they kept coming at him, turned over ball, simple mistakes. But look, the honesty of effort was there, and any day you have that in any club, you need to be proud of the guys that are out there giving it all.
Looking forward now to the two semi-finals with Donovan Rossa against Éire Óg. That was a big win, as you mentioned earlier on, for Éire Óg, Conor.
Yeah, I suppose I saw Donovan Rossa beat Michaels last week. They got 3 fast goals, and Michaels are conceding today. Maybe Michaels are feeling the impact after 3 or 4 years really on the go. They shouldn't be beaten by that much today by Éire Óg. are they slipping a bit this year? Possibly. You know, the fact that Skib came back at him and Skib got a last minute point to win that. If you're looking in form there, you'd be thinking still that they're Rogue to have it over Skib. Mallow for me, as I said, local derby, but Mallow certainly probably the form team. If you ask me at this stage, looking at it, I'd see a Mallow and who did I say? Who else was
Éireog.
Mallow Éireog final, and that would be some final.
It'll be a great final. I wouldn't be so quick to rule Skib out, or Fermoy for that matter. But look, just if we take Mallow and today's performance, you know, they'll be hard to beat for Fermoy. Skib versus Éireog. You know, Skib are, you know, a proud club with an All-Ireland title. They're down Senior A. You know, it was a disappointment for them to be relegated. They'll be gunning for it. I think they've done quite well in their game so far, and we're doing well in the league. Skib and Éireog should be a very entertaining game. Éireog, we know, have the kind of forward firepower to do a lot of damage. You know, Daniel Goulding, Kieran Sheehan, Colm O'Callaghan, Jack Hurley. You know, they've real quality up front. So, you know, that'll be an interesting watch.
Should be an intriguing watch indeed. And of course tonight, live on the Irish Examiner, we've got the big Premier Senior Football Championship clash where Duhallow take on Valley Rovers in Park Erin at 7 o'clock, and we'll be on air from 7:15. Big game for both sides, but I suppose, Conor, from a Duhallow perspective, I think it's around 90% of the panel that they have actually turned out in some stage or another yesterday.
Yeah, and that must be, you know, that must be a worry for them, you know, because, you know, you can see the heat here this evening to try and keep that going. Chances are they probably picked up a niggle or two. No, notwithstanding that, you know, Valleys have had a couple of good results so far. Like I think they beat Bishopstown obviously in the last round, and they'd beaten the previous round. I'm trying to think. They beat Douglas. You know, so good wins. So like if there's a bit of a chink there, you know, don't write the Valleys off. You know, yeah, you'd be inclined to plump for Duhallow, but. No racing certainly. It depends what Duhallow comes out. Is it a third Duhallow? You know, that sort of way. So, but look, on balance, they probably should come through. But look, interesting enough at the same time.
Yeah, like I suppose what Connor's saying is, on paper you definitely pick Duhallow. You know, they have the better team on paper, but you know what you're talking about there, that 90% of their squad are involved in a game in one way or the other. That's likely to have an impact, and you know those players will have been very busy. Some of them playing it week on week as well. So, you know, Valley Rovers, you know, another proud club, a good dual club as well, and you know they'll be they have the club unity against the division. Duhallow, to be fair to them, are probably the most organised out of all the divisions, and that's why they get the results that they do. But if there's an opportunity ever for Valleys to take Duhallow out, you know, it's probably this weekend.
Well, it's going to be a big game tonight. That's coming your way live at 7 o'clock. But for here in Blarney, my thanks to John Hayes and to Conor Coon. And it's a famous victory for Mallow this afternoon, beating Bandon on a scoreline of 2-16 to 2-10. Darragh Moynihan and Kieran O'Riordan with the 2 goals in the opening half for Mallow, which sends them through to face off against Fermoy in a semi-final in a few weeks' time. From all of us here in Blarney, thanks to John and Kieran as well on technical duties. Join the lads in around 7:15 live from Park Erin for that big semi-final. But from all of us here in Blarney, it's a very good evening.